Hey, good morning. It's Tiffany with GF Mom Certified. So this morning, I kind of just want to talk. Yes, my makeup was on early. I have a podcast type interview at 9 a.m. with Kaylee Harding, ex-Miss Illinois or past Miss Illinois, and it's just all about diabetes. So today is National Diabetes Awareness Day, November 14th. And it was one of those diseases that I never thought would affect me. It never really affected my life growing up. Nobody in my immediate family had it when I was a child. My bunkmate at summer camp had type 1 diabetes and had a pump when I was in junior high, and I learned about the disease then early on and the struggles of having a pump and swimming and going to camp and all of that, and her mom's concern. Some of my best friends and people I've been maids of honor for in weddings, their husbands were type 1 diabetic and have pumps, and some of our neighbors, but it never really affected my immediate circle, my immediate life, right? Until about a little over, almost a year ago, I guess. Yeah, almost a year ago. December of last year, right before Christmas, my husband was sick. And we thought it was the flu, and then I was like, maybe it's your heart, maybe what's your blood pressure, like all of these questions. And I had a friend of mine who is also a functional medicine coach and a psychologist and just a functional medicine practitioner over for dinner one of those evenings when he wasn't really feeling well. And he came down to be social, but he just wasn't feeling well. And she said, you got to get him to the hospital. And I said, and that was her like words as she was leaving our house that evening. And I was like, great. If she's saying he's got to go to the hospital, something really must be the matter. And so this was last December, and I went and I was like, you're telling me your chest hurts, you're telling me your arm hurts, you're sweating profusely. Maybe we should just go to the ER tonight. Our nanny was already going to stay that night, and he was like, no, if I wake up in the morning and I'm still sick, we'll go to the doctor. And I was like, all right. And I went to bed and I didn't sleep because I worried. And not that I should have worried, but I did. And I worried and I worried and I worried. And at 5 a.m. I went down because he had fallen asleep on the couch to check on him. And he was still breathing, and that was like a huge sigh of relief. But I was like, how are you feeling? And he's like, not any better. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go to the emergency room because your dad had a stroke. I don't want you to have a heart attack. We're going to the emergency room. And my husband, who many of you know, was like, then I'm driving myself. And I was like, fine. And looking back, I should have never have let him drive. But thank God, thank the angels for allowing us to get to the emergency room safely. We got to the emergency room, excuse me, and we told him we thought he was having a heart attack. We told him his arm was having pains and numbness, his chest was having pains, it was difficulty breathing, and there was all this sweating that they could see. And so they rushed him through admittance back to a room to start drawing blood work because there are blood panels that they can run to tell if you're actually having a heart attack, right? And they look for different markers. His blood work was rushed to the lab. In the meantime, they started doing oxygen, heart rate, all of this stuff. And they did some other blood work. They came back within like 5 minutes. And I've never seen the hospital run this fast. Like, I have been to the same hospital for 10 plus years. And I've had kids there. We've had broken bones. Like, I've been there myself. Never this fast. And they were just like on top of it. And they come back and they're like, you're having a DKA. And I'm like, what is that? And they're like, it's the starting stages of a diabetic coma. We're taking you to the ICU. And I was like, oh my gosh. And that was how diabetes came into my immediate family, my immediate life, and how everything since then has been about awareness, about me researching and learning and trying to help my husband eat healthier so that he doesn't have to do 6 injections a day. But right now we do 6 injections a day of insulin. We do long acting, we do short acting, we check sugars. He's wearing a sensor on his body so that he can see his insulin and glucose levels all the time on his phone. We're not at a pump, but and the interesting thing is then I said, right, and we built this care team, this diabetic care team, and we have an endocrinologist and we have a functional medicine doctor, and he's got his primary care, and we've got this team around him, and they're like, it's not type 1, it's not type 2, and it's not type 1.5. And I'm like, so what does that mean? And they're like, well, his pancreas still produces insulin, his pancreas is actually running fine. We just don't know what's going on. So we treat it like it's diabetes, but it is a type of diabetes that really doesn't fit into any of the Western medicine categories, although we know his body needs additional insulin to process everything. And what is more interesting is that when he's fasting, his sugars go higher than when he's not eating. And so it's almost like hypoglycemia, even though that's not the diagnosis. The diagnosis is diabetes. So that is my awareness story. I would encourage each and every one of you, if somebody in your life is that you care about or has touched your life in some way is affected by diabetes, that today on National Diabetes Awareness Day, that you share your story. Because let them know they're not alone. Let them know that there are others going through the same thing. There are others still questioning, like, what is the cause? What is the solution? There is no cure. We know there's no cure, but what can we do? Share your stories today. Okay? Have a great day. Bye, guys.